Welcome to NextLabs Expert Q&A series. This series was designed to inform you of relevant cybersecurity topics via expert knowledge.
Welcome back to the NextLabs Cybersecurity Expert Series. In this episode, we'll be discussing AI in regulated environments and what organizations need to consider as AI continues to transform software development. Joining us today is Michael Smith, founder of Sagittal AI. Michael, thanks for being here. Before we jump into the questions, I'd love for you to briefly introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Michael Smith, the CEO and co-founder of Sagittal AI. I'm experienced in security for agents in the software development lifecycle, specifically how to secure your agents and how to have those agents generate more secure code. Stay tuned to my episode in the NextLabs Cybersecurity series, where I will discuss how to integrate AI across the entire software development lifecycle, where safety, security, and compliance matter. And move fast and break things is simply not enough.
Question 1. Why doesn't the move fast and break things mindset work in industries like critical infrastructure, defense, or financial services?
AI has clearly and permanently changed the way we build software. But speed alone isn't the only solution when you have lives, livelihoods, or national security at stake. In heavily regulated environments like energy grids, defense contractors, financial systems, and healthcare, the consequences of the mistakes aren't just bugs. They're outages or breaches or even worse. Why we have to address this today is that AI tools have increased the blast radius of any mistake. Sure, code is built faster, but there's less accountability and less provenance. So you generate bugs and technical debt faster, and you don't control the whole process. The regulatory and security processes that we put in place over the last few decades, specifically to prevent such issues, are often encouraged by these tools to be bypassed, assuming that you can iterate your way out of defects. And we know historically we can't do that.
Question 2. You touched on how AI is accelerating development, but also increasing risk when governance and accountability aren't built in. What specific risks do current AI coding tools introduce, and why are they particularly dangerous in regulated environments?
Most developer AI tools focus almost exclusively on code. They aren't aware of your processes, your security standards, or your compliance requirements within your organization. Also, these tools tend to act on behalf of the individual developers using their credentials, making the actions very hard to audit. You can't tell whether it was the individual developer or the AI that made a particular change. So this creates speed, sure, but it throws away your seatbelts and your roll cage and gets rid of your safety in the process. In regulated environments that require frameworks like NIST's Secure Software Development Framework, this isn't just a risk, it's actually a compliance violation. So organizations are kind of stuck with two bad choices today. Either don't use AI and go a heck of a lot slower than all your peers, or use AI and kind of risk violation of the secure frameworks that we've been put into place for such a long time. What you kind of need is an AI that is aware of your organization's needs for end-to-end requirements and isn't only just good at writing code.
Question 3. There's often a perception that organizations have to choose between speed and security. Is speed actually in tension with security and compliance, or is that ultimately a false trade-off?
It's largely a false trade-off, but only if you apply AI in the right places throughout the software development lifecycle. The real bottlenecks in regulated software development isn't in generation of code. It's in the coordination between the people, the documentation, the review cycles, and the rework that happens when security is just bolted onto the end. When you apply AI throughout the entire process, not just at code generation, you can enforce standards as you go, as a byproduct of the workflow, not just as a gate at the end, And it becomes much more reliable than even a careful human with a checklist and several days can do. That eliminates the rework, it dramatically accelerates delivery, and most importantly, it ensures an even more compliance and quality.
Question 4. You've mentioned the concept of process-controlled AI as a different approach to enterprise AI adoption. What does process-controlled AI mean, and how does it differ from tools like GitHub Copilot or Claude Code?
On top of what we've already discussed, almost every AI coding tool has two additional problems. One is that they don't really work asynchronously. They're meant to be babysat through their processing, and you're sitting there waiting for them to complete. So I don't think that's truly agentic work. But they also have another problem. They kind of make up the plan as they go. They kind of plan ad hoc. They don't follow preset patterns and workflows, so you're not sure what they're going to do, much less follow your processes or compliance. So a process-controlled AI creates a true agent that is not only asynchronous, but operates safely within a set of predefined workflows, and yet with significant latitude when it's needed. So they're both safe and versatile. So you can deploy these centrally because they're authenticated as a separate organizational actor. So our AI, Neo, has its own credentials, and it does not spoof a user's credentials on the command line. And it's also governed by and follows your processes, standards, and policies. Neo completes tasks across your tools and many roles using these workflows. So it can do things like design, tickets, documentation, code, tests, and so forth, helping people like product managers, designers, of course, developers, testers, and many others. So because the orchestration logic is deterministic and the AI scope is heavily bounded, it can't cause SQL injections, delete your database, or screw up your backlog. And it's accountable for every one of its actions. So all of this put together is the architectural difference that makes it very viable in regulated environments.
Question 5. For a regulated organization looking to adopt AI safely and effectively, what does getting started actually look like? And what kinds of outcomes should organizations expect from that process?
Adopting AI today isn't just about buying a tool, plugging it in, and having it work automatically. Usually there's a significant amount of organizational change that has to accompany it. So to make this happen, we usually map out a proof of concept for about 2 to 5 teams within the company, taking a few sprints to prove metrics such as security, improving compliance, quality, and of course, delivery speed. So the key here is understanding your existing processes before we automate them. Organizations that skip this redesign step tend to miss a lot of opportunities at best and automate dysfunction at worst. So the complexity is why we utilize forward deployed engineering to embed and help you redesign your processes and implement as much of the automation as possible. So that's to help you also with training and making the metrics improve. When we do this right, customers have seen absolutely significant reductions in mean time to resolution and huge changes in delivery speed, even more than they see with existing code-only solutions. So the bigger lesson here is that organizations that achieve both speed and security will have a huge competitive edge, an operational advantage over those that think you have to choose one or the other.
Michael, thank you again for joining us and sharing your perspective on AI in regulated environments. And thank you to everyone watching this episode of the NextLabs Cybersecurity Expert Series. For more videos like this, subscribe to our channel. We'll see you next time.